Well, most of you will have some knowledge of the European Reformations. The term Reformation may conjure up images of martyrdom, iconoclasm and revolution. Or it may conjure up images of key figures like Martin Luther, John Calvin, the Jesuits in Europe, or in Britain, Henry VIII and his 8 wives, Thomas Cranmer, Bloody Mary, Elizabeth I, and later on, Oliver Cromwell. Well, each of these people played a crucial role in the Reformation, but you may wonder exactly how and where they fit into the picture of the whole of the Reformation and early modern history. You might also wonder how the real history compares with Hollywood and television portrayals of Luther and the Tudors. Well, these centuries between 1400 and 1700 are some of the most influential and turbulent in human history. This is a period of immense, rapid change and reform, beginning in the 16th century and continuing to 1700 and beyond. The Reformations had their roots in earlier attempts to return the Western Christian Church, now over 1300 years old, to more biblical foundations in its belief system, its morality and its structures. Well, most people think the Reformation begins with Martin Luther's famous protest in 1517, when he nailed 95 criticisms of the Catholic Church to his local church door in Wittenberg, Germany. But in actual fact, efforts for reform of the church had been going on for centuries in Europe. These earlier efforts provided the fuel for the fires of reform and revolution, but it was Luther's spark that lit the combustible material in 1517. What created that spark was his reading of the Bible, along with the writings of Augustine, and a powerful experience of conversion that led him to question the medieval Catholic Church's doctrinal emphases and its practices. This led initially to the formation of a cluster of breakaway Protestant churches in Europe. In turn, that breakaway of Protestant churches from the Roman Catholic Church led to major moral, theological, and institutional reform in the Christian Church, both among the new Protestant movements and within the old Roman Catholic Church itself. Well, the Reformation had a further impact because it coincided with the age of discovery, especially of the New World of the Americas, and the expansion of Europe and Western Christianity with it into a global power after the 1400s. This period also witnessed extraordinary Roman Catholic missionary penetration into the Far East, India, China, and the Americas. The Reformation also coincided with a cultural renaissance in Western Europe. Currents of reform had a major influence on Western literature, education, languages, architecture, music, and the arts. It was also a period of significant technological change. The printing press, for example, was the equivalent of the internet of our day, allowing Luther and other reformers' prolific writings and artwork to go viral in a way that had not been possible before. The era also produced some of the greatest literature ever produced, including that of William Shakespeare, of John Milton, or Miguel Cervantes. And it paved the way for the scientific revolution, the Enlightenment, and the rise of market capitalism. The Reformations also addressed fundamental social, economic, and political issues in Europe and Britain, and was a factor in major wars and political realignments during the 1600s and beyond. Well, the key to understanding the Reformations, their origins and their impact, lies in this crucial 3 centuries between 1400 and 1700. We're going to chart that history over this semester, spending the first half of the semester looking at the course and impact of the Reformation in continental Europe, especially in the German states, in France, Spain, Switzerland, and Italy. In the second half of the semester, we'll shift our gaze across the English Channel to England, Scotland, Wales, and Ireland to try to comprehend the course and impact of the Reformation there. Along the way, we'll meet some of the most famous people who've ever lived, like Martin Luther, Henry VIII, but we'll also meet many of the unsung heroes and lesser known everyday people of this fascinating period of history. We'll also see how, in many ways, the Reformation period forged the religious, cultural and political complexion of our modern world. Well, hi, I'm Michael Gladwin, your lecturer and subject coordinator for THL132 and 419, European Reformations from 1400 to 1700. I want to invite you to join me on a journey of historical discovery as we chart the historical impact of one of the most influential developments in human history, the European Reformations. But before we do, in this brief introduction, I want to tell you a little bit about who I am, what this course is about, and how you can succeed and get the most out of it. Well, what about me? Well, ever since I can remember, I've been fascinated by history. But that interest turned towards the history of Christianity after I experienced a profound religious awakening at the age of 19, just prior to starting a university degree in English literature here in Canberra. Intrigued by the rich heritage and traditions of the Christian faith I'd embraced, I studied history at the Australian National University before heading to the UK to do doctoral research at the University of Cambridge. I've been lecturing in church history at St Mark's National Theological Centre, which is part of the School of Theology at Charles Sturt University since 2009. When I'm not pondering the past, you can usually find me spending time with my wife, Lara, my 2 little girls and friends, pondering theology, philosophy and apologetics, watching films, playing drums and guitar in bands of various kinds, or involved in the life of my local Anglican church, St George's in Canberra. But enough about me. As I've already mentioned, this course charts the progress and impact of the Reformations during a key period in world history. But this course is also designed to introduce you to the sub-discipline of church history, which, along with biblical studies, systematic theology, and practical theology, make up the 4 traditional sub-disciplines of theology. Well, church history examines the development of Christianity, its ideas, institutions, and people over time, and it places them in their historical context. And by historical context, I mean the cultural, intellectual, and political forces that have shaped Christianity, and which Christianity has shaped over the course of time. One historian puts it like this: the Christian church has been so closely interwoven with the course of Western civilization that her history, life, and institutions are matters of deep concern, not only to those who've been admitted into membership of the body of Christ, but to all who take an intelligent interest in contemporary culture. At a more practical level, historical study helps you to sharpen your skills in critical thinking, in argument, in research, analysis, and writing, and it assists you in shaping a worldview. I want to conclude this introduction by suggesting how you can succeed and get the most out of this subject. I want to suggest 4 things you need to do. First, read your subject outline thoroughly, ensuring that you have the required resources, including textbooks, and noting on a calendar the assessment items and their due dates. Each assessment item is designed to build on previous skills and knowledge. Second, set aside a regular block of time each week, at least a few hours, to work on your assignments. Do this from week 1 so that you can start thinking early about what you need to do. This will enable you to give maximum thought to your assignment topics, to get in early for library books, and to be able to sleep at night because you're not procrastinating about those looming assessment pieces. Third, set aside a regular weekly block of time, at least a few hours, to do your readings for each topic. You can access the topic for each week by clicking on the topic link that's located on the left of this screen under Learning Content, or on the subject map on the subject side. In each of your topic pages, there are set readings from your textbooks in the Readings section, plus a link to your lecture notes in PowerPoint or PDF format. For each topic, there's also a collection of primary source readings. That is, readings that come from the Reformation period. These readings are usually very short fragments of larger works and should not take much time to read. Each topic's primary source readings are noted in the lecture notes, as well as in a separate list of primary source readings. Now, these primary sources are all uploaded onto the library website through eReserve. You can find them by typing THL132 into the library catalogue search. In the reading section of each topic, you'll also notice that there are discussion questions. Use these discussion questions to guide your readings and then to inform your discussions in the webinar and on the discussion forum. We'll then use the readings, forum discussion questions, lecture notes, and primary sources as the basis for discussion in our weekly webinar, which you can join live online. The time and day of the webinar is also noted in the webinar section of each topic on your website. If you can't join us at that time, you can watch the recorded version at any time that suits you. Which leads to my 4th and final suggestion. Make sure you discuss the course and the topics and questions it raises as much as you can with me, with friends and family, and with other students on the discussion forum, and if possible, in the live streamed webinar. We all have a lot to learn from each other, and I can guarantee that the more you enter into conversation about this subject, the more you'll get out of it. So, do these 4 things, and your present study of the past will have a bright future. In summary, read the subject outline carefully, noticing assessment due dates on your calendar, set aside a regular weekly block of time to work on your assignments, do the same for your readings and the webinar, and discuss your findings and questions with me and others, both in the webinar and on the forum. Finally, if you encounter any difficulties, whether related to the subject or to life situations that are making study difficult, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me. Email is usually the best port of call in the first instance, as I'm out of the office on Mondays and Fridays. If need be, I can follow up your email with a phone call. My details are in the Contact Your Lecturer section at the left of this page. I look forward to meeting you and to learning together about the fascinating and important history of the European Reformations from 1400 to 1700.